The music had just shifted to At Last by Etta James when I saw her. My stepsister Vanessa stood at the edge of the dance floor, and my stomach dropped. She wasn't supposed to be wearing white. Nobody wore white to a wedding except the bride. That was basic etiquette. But there she was in a flowing white gown that looked suspiciously like a wedding dress, complete with a small train that she kept adjusting for maximum visibility. "Is that?" my new husband Marcus whispered in my ear as we swayed. "Don't," I whispered back, forcing my smile to stay in place. "Just don't. Not today." But I knew Vanessa. I'd known her for 12 years, ever since my mom married her father when I was 14. She didn't do anything by accident. The white dress was a declaration of war. I should have seen this coming. The warning signs had been there all week. The mysterious smirks during the rehearsal dinner. The way she'd insisted on sitting at the table closest to the dance floor. The fact that she'd brought a +1 none of us had ever met. A photographer friend who kept taking pictures of her instead of the actual wedding party. "Sophie, you look absolutely radiant," my Aunt Martha had said earlier, squeezing my hand. "Don't let anything ruin this day for you." She glanced meaningfully at Vanessa, who was already working the room in her white gown, letting guests assume she was either part of the wedding party or possibly even another bride. I'd overheard her telling my cousin that it was a special dress for a special announcement. The song was barely halfway through when she started pushing through the crowd, her hand pressed dramatically against her stomach. Oh no. No, no, no. I knew that look. I'd seen it before, at my college graduation when she faked a fainting spell, at my engagement party when she'd announced her own engagement to a boyfriend of 2 weeks, at my mother's birthday when she claimed to have won the lottery. "Marcus," I whispered urgently, "she's going to." "Still PE music," Vanessa screamed, stumbling into the middle of the dance floor. The DJ, a young guy named Tyler who'd been nothing but professional all evening, looked confused but slowly faded the music out. 200 guests turned to stare as Vanessa positioned herself directly in the spotlight meant for our first dance. I caught Tyler's eye and saw something flicker across his face, recognition. He'd been setting up when I casually mentioned my concerns about certain family members causing drama. I'd even joked about Vanessa's history of attention-seeking behavior. He'd laughed and said he'd seen it all in his 5 years of wedding DJing. "I'm so sorry," Vanessa gasped, one hand on her stomach, the other pressed to her forehead like a swooning Victorian maiden. I didn't want to steal the spotlight, but here it comes, I thought. Marcus's hand tightened around mine. I could feel the tension radiating from our wedding party. My maid of honor, Jessica, had actually taken a step forward like she was ready to physically intervene. "I'm Parisienne with TYNs," Vanessa wailed. "I just found out this morning and I couldn't keep it in anymore. I'm going to be a mommy." The guests erupted in confused murmurs. Some started clapping uncertainly. My Aunt Patricia, who'd have 4 glasses of champagne, actually cheered. But I noticed my mom's face had gone pale, and Vanessa's father, my stepfather Robert, looked like he'd been slapped. "Congratulations?" someone called out uncertainly. Vanessa basked in the attention, spinning so her white dress flared out. "I know it's Sophie's day, but when you get news this big, you just have to share it with family." I watched her performance with a mixture of fury and resignation. This was classic Vanessa. When I'd gotten into medical school, she'd announced she was writing a novel. When I'd gotten engaged, she'd suddenly been discovered by a modeling agency that turned out to be a scam. Every milestone in my life had to be accompanied by some dramatic announcement from her. "Vanessa," Robert started, his voice tight with embarrassment. "This isn't the time." "Oh, I know," she cried, actually twirling now. "I'm so sorry, Sophie. I just couldn't help myself. You know how emotional pregnancy makes you. And twins. Can you believe it? Twins." She was laying it on thick, even for her. The photographer friend was snapping pictures rapidly, probably for whatever social media storm Vanessa was planning later. "We should toast the happy news," Vanessa's best friend Brittany called out, clearly in on whatever this was. "To Vanessa and her twins." That's when Tyler the DJ did something I'll never forget. He leaned into his microphone, his voice cutting through the chaos with professional clarity. "Interesting timing, Vanessa." The room went quiet. Vanessa's tears topped mid-roll. "What?" she said, turning to face him. Tyler was already pulling out his phone, connecting it to the projection system we'd set up for the slideshow later. I mean, it's interesting that you're announcing a pregnancy that you just found out about this morning. Tyler, I breathed, not sure whether to stop him or let him continue. The wall behind the dance floor lit up with a social media post. Vanessa's profile. Posted 2 hours ago, right around the time we've been taking pre-reception photos. When you posted this, Tyler read aloud in a clear news anchor voice. Lol, can't wait to pull the fake pregnancy prank at my stepsister's wedding. She'll die when I steal her spotlight in this white dress. Hashtag prank queen, hashtag wedding crasher, hashtag twins fake bump. The silence was deafening. Someone dropped a champagne flute. The sound of it shattering seemed to echo forever. That's, Vanessa sputtered, her face cycling through emotions rapidly. That's not. Someone hacked my account. Tyler swiped to the next screenshot with the casual air of a prosecutor presenting evidence. And this one from last week. Bought the pair of a cute white dress for Sophie's wedding. She's gonna lose her mind. Building a fake bump with toilet paper as we speak. I heard gasps from the crowd. My grandmother muttered something in Italian that I'm pretty sure wasn't complimentary. Another swipe. Oh, and here's the tutorial you watched on how to fake a pregnancy announcement for maximum drama. You liked it, and commented perfect for next Saturday. Stop, Vanessa screeched, lunging toward the DJ booth, but Tyler smoothly continued. Wait, there's more. Here's your Amazon order history. Another image appeared. Fake pregnancy belly, ordered Tuesday, 1-day shipping. And look, you left a review, perfect for pranks, looks so real. My mother stood up slowly from her table. Her face had gone from pale to a shade of red I'd never seen before. Vanessa Michelle Henderson. I'd never heard my mom use that tone. It was the voice she used exactly once before, when she caught my biological father cheating 15 years ago. Mom, I can explain, Vanessa started, but her voice was drowned out by the murmur of 200 wedding guests processing what they just witnessed. No, Robert interrupted, standing as well. His face showed a mixture of humiliation and fury. No more explaining, no more scenes, no more stunts. He turned to me and Marcus, and I saw tears in his eyes. Sophie, Marcus, I am deeply sorry. We should have addressed this behavior years ago. But Daddy, Vanessa tried again, her white dress now seeming more like a costume than a fashion choice. Now, Vanessa, we're leaving now. But Tyler wasn't done. As Vanessa was being escorted out by her mortified father, he called out cheerfully, "Oh, and Vanessa, I screenshot everything. You know, in case you try to claim you really were pregnant later. I've sent copies to Sophie and your parents. Congratulations on the fake twins, though, you little." Vanessa spun around, but Robert physically pulled her toward the exit. Also, Tyler added, now clearly enjoying himself. That photographer you brought, he's been live streaming this whole thing. Hi, Kevin. He waved at the photographer, who looked like he wanted to sink into the floor. 20,000 viewers and counting. You're trending. The doors slammed behind them, the sound echoing through the ballroom. For a moment, nobody moved. Then my 85-year-old grandmother started slow clapping from her wheelchair. Best wedding entertainment I've seen in 60 years, she announced in her thick Italian accent. Better than when Cousin Lucia's wig caught fire in 72. The tension broke. People started laughing, then applauding. Tyler smoothly started the music back up, picking up at last right where we'd left off, as if nothing had happened. You okay? Marcus whispered as we resumed our positions. I looked around the room. My mother was pouring herself a large glass of wine but gave me a thumbs up. My bridesmaids were group hugging by the bar. My college friends were high-fiving Tyler, who was graciously accepting tips and business cards. Actually, I said, surprising myself. Yeah, I'm great. And I was. Because for the first time in 12 years, someone had finally called Vanessa out on her behavior. Not quietly, not privately, but in front of everyone she'd been trying to impress. The rest of the reception was magical. Without Vanessa's toxic energy, people relaxed and actually enjoyed themselves. My mom even made an impromptu toast, apologizing for the interruption and praising Tyler as the hero we didn't know we needed. She also announced that family therapy would be starting immediately for those who needed it, which got a knowing laugh from the crowd. During dinner, people kept approaching our table with stories of their own about Vanessa. My cousin revealed she'd worn white to her wedding too. My college roommate mentioned the time Vanessa had faked a broken leg at my graduation party. It was like a dam had broken. Everyone finally felt free to acknowledge what we'd all been politely ignoring for years. How did Tyler even know to screenshot that stuff? Marcus asked during our father-daughter dance. My stepfather had graciously offered to step in for my late father. I grinned. I may have mentioned to him during setup that my stepsister had a history of causing scenes. Told him to keep an eye on social media, just in case. Didn't actually think he would. Remind me to tip him extra, Marcus laughed. Later, as I was touching up my makeup in the bathroom, a group of guests I didn't recognize approached me. "We're Vanessa's coworkers," one woman explained. "We just wanted to say we're sorry for what happened, but also, thank you. She pulls this stuff at work too. Maybe now she'll finally get help." As the night went on, Tyler became something of a celebrity. He told the story of how he'd noticed Vanessa's posts while scrolling during a break, how he'd immediately started screenshotting everything, how he even found her Amazon review through her public wish list. "I've been doing this for 5 years," he explained to an eager crowd. "You develop a sixth sense for drama." Plus, Sophie mentioned her concerns, so I set up some Google alerts. The Amazon thing was just lucky. She'd shared her wish list on Facebook last month. But the real vindication came at the end of the night. As Marcus and I were leaving for our honeymoon, Tyler pulled me aside. "Hey, so full disclosure," he said. "I do social media monitoring for a lot of events now. Started after a birthday party disaster last year. Your stepsister's not the first person to try the fake pregnancy thing." "Really?" "Oh yeah, it's like a trending thing now. How to upstage the bride. There are whole forums dedicated to it. Reddit threads, TikTok tutorials, the works." He shook his head. "But posting about it beforehand? Using your real name? That's just amateur hour." He handed me a USB drive. "Everything's on here. Screenshots, timestamps, even the metadata proving they're real. The live stream recording too. You know, in case she tries anything else." I looked at the small drive in my hand. Why go to all this trouble? Tyler's expression softened. "My sister's wedding got ruined by a narcissistic relative. Nobody stood up for her. She never got her perfect day back." He smiled. "Besides, it's your wedding. You deserve to have your first dance. And honestly, it was really satisfying to watch her face when I pulled up those screenshots." As our car pulled away from the venue, my phone was already buzzing with notifications. "Mom, I'm so sorry, honey. Robert and I are having a serious talk about Vanessa's behavior. This was the last straw. We're looking into treatment programs. My bridesmaid, OMG Tyler, is a Lee and got his card for my wedding. Unknown number. Hi Sophie, this is Tyler's girlfriend. That video has 50K views already. Vanessa's wedding crashing days are over. Congrats on your marriage. College friend, your wedding is trending on Twitter. #FakeBumpgate. I turned my phone off and snuggled closer to Marcus. Vanessa had tried to ruin my wedding with a fake pregnancy in a white dress. Instead, she'd given me the best gift possible: freedom from ever having to pretend her behavior was acceptable again. 6 months later, I received a letter from Vanessa. She was in therapy, had moved 3 states away, and was working on herself. She apologized, a real apology, not her usual manipulation. She mentioned that seeing herself on that projection screen, having her lies displayed for everyone to see, had been her rock bottom. I didn't respond. Some bridges, once burned, don't need rebuilding. Tyler, on the other hand, became wedding DJ famous. He started a side business in event security, basically monitoring social media for potential wedding and party crashers. He even gave a TED talk, Screenshots and Solidarity: How Social Media Can Protect Your Special Day. And the video? It became a viral sensation, spawning countless memes and even a few copycat exposures at other weddings. Vanessa inadvertently started a movement of DJs and wedding planners taking a more proactive approach to managing disruptive guests. My wedding video is beautiful. There's a brief moment of chaos in the middle, sure. But what most people remember is the sight of Tyler the DJ, calmly destroying a narcissist with nothing but screenshots and a projector, while the bride and groom continued their first dance. It wasn't the wedding I planned. It was better. Because it was the wedding where I finally stopped being afraid of Vanessa's stunts, where my family finally saw her true colors, and where a DJ named Tyler became a legend. And yes, I kept the USB drive. Not because I planned to use it, But as a reminder, sometimes the best response to someone trying to steal your spotlight is to let them, and make sure everyone can see exactly what they're doing in the light.